Hey there, comic book friends and fiends. It's Rob here in front of the Great Wall of Comics. Today, we've got boxes from CGC. Oh, let's open them up and take a look and see what we got inside. All right, so I know only one box. I just had four a second ago. That's because there's actually five boxes altogether here, folks. CGC has come, and I'm a victim of the tiered system that has created a multitude of shipments coming back to me because CGC, the way that their submissions forms work. So, anyways, short story. Today, CGC unboxings. Long story, why so many boxes? Well, a couple of these are actually commissions. They were individually done items, but three of these boxes were all part of one submission. But because of the way CGC does their submission forms, when you send stuff up, if they hit different tiers, they break those up into separate submissions. So there's one here that's a high value tier. It's going to go into its own thing. That, versus a standard tier versus a modern tier versus vintage or whatever. This is what they do. And you need to be aware of this because what happens to you as the submitter is that for each one of those different tiers, you're going to pay another $5 submission fee because they're going to break them up as separate submissions. And then on top of that, even though you are going to ship them all in as one, they're going to ship them back in individual shipments. That means three different individual shipment charges. Is there anything you can do about it? Well, you could pay for everything at the highest rate, but that's silly. So really no. Or not use CGC, which is possible. No other grading service does this to you. But anyways, so let's take a look and see what we got here. We'll start with this box, and then we'll get into the commissions and the high value stuff. So this is our normal submission of some vintage books. These are older books. There's only 6 of them in here. So they filled in the rest of this with some bubble wrap and packing material. It's good to go. So let's just crack right in. I'm going to pull them all out, I think, and put them face down real quick. And then we'll be able to go from there. That way I don't have to hold this box in my hand. All right. So a lot of this stuff is either going to be, like I said, commissions, or it's going to be stuff that I I acquired recently at Heroes Con or something else. And I'll tell the stories as we go. This first book up, this one is actually a book I picked up at Shortboxed Live. A con here in Santa Clara. I knew this one was a low grade. It was labeled as having a split spine, but it's a book I needed for the run, and it presents really well. The biggest knock on the grade here is because the spine is split about 3/4 of the way, and that is Mystery in Space number 9. So I've been working on my Mystery in Space run. I'm actually really close to completing the first 10 issues. This book, I've seen this book a lot of times, really beat up covers. This cover looks really, really good. Like I said, it's a split spine that's the issue, so it gets a 2.0, but I'm fine with that. It looks great. No major creases whatsoever. Came out looking great. All right, next up. This one actually is. Here's a perfect example. This book actually looks worse than the previous book. 2.0 looks really, really good. No major spine strikes. This book, Mystery in Space number 6, still looks pretty good, but there's a lot more color-breaking spine ticks that run all down the side, and we get a 5.0 on this grade. But the spine on this one is completely intact. So that's how bad a spine grade split is going to hit you, is a big ding. Because you could imagine if this one didn't have that spine split, it's probably sitting at a 6.0 easily. But still, again, just picking up the run, happy to have that there the day the world melted. Sounds like global warming to me. 1952, Carmine Infantino and Joe Giella cover. I combined their two names together. This book was a... Alright, so this book here, this was a Heroes Con book find most of what I did at Heroes Con was hunt wall books. I didn't really look in bins very much at all. But I happened to flip into one bin. I saw this book. I immediately pulled it out, knew I had to have it. I'd seen it before. People asking way more than I paid for it. I still paid a lot for it. I stepped up for this book, and more than I probably should have. I was just so happy to find it for less than $500. And that is Strange Worlds number 19. You know me, my bubble helmets, ray guns. This guy's got double blasters, taking on multiple robots. We got a woman in red, their bubble helmets. We got a rocket ship in the background. This screams sci-fi. Happy with a 4.0. I think with off-white to white pages, 4.0. Robot cover is the label. I honestly probably thought it was going to be around a 3.5 to a 4. I'm happy to see that that is correct, even with a little chunk missing out of this corner cover here. But that is beautiful. Oh, I might have to try to see about getting that one up on the wall. Don't know what's come down, but oof, it's sexy. All right, next up, let's go with this here. So this next one, this is another Heroes Con book. One of my last pickups from HeroCon. This book, Mark and I were from Legion of Comics. Were walking around, and this book actually looks just as bad as it did at the time I picked it up. But he and I were picking on some poor vendor on the last day of the deal who wanted like way too much money for this book, and Mark said, you know, what can you do? And the guy says, give me a number. And so Mark said $5. Want to meet me in the middle? The guy, of course, like rolled his eyes and stuff, and so I just gave him a number, said, look, here's what I'll pay. And next thing you know, it was like, okay, boom. And that is for Lost Worlds number 5. So you get a 3.5. It's got a lot of color breaking spine or creases, a lot of stuff along the spine here, spine breaks. We have a little bit of a split seam at the very, or split spine at the very top corner. The back side looks pretty clean, very nice. Rogue Trader did a phenomenal job cleaning that. This again, we got bubble helmets and ray guns. We got the chlorophyll monster. This is great. And what's funny about this is, so this is Lost Worlds number 5, and it's noted that this is the first issue. They literally started this like with number 5. So there you go. Phenomenal book. 1952 on this one as well. All right. As I keep on chugging here, this is a series I've been working on, my Dell 4-color Flash Gordon books. I think there's like 7 or 8 of them in total. I've got most of them. This was a book I found recently and added it to the collection. I honestly did not expect this grade on there. I was thinking that this was going to be like a 5.0. And looking at it still, I still think it's like a 5 to a 6. I don't think of it as being a 7. I just spoiled the grade. 7.0. White pages. And the reason I'm saying that is, like, if you look, there's like some serious color breaking all along here. You can see even in the cape some of the cracking for the painted cover. So I'm really surprised by this grade. I think I got a lucky bounce. But love that white pages. Holy cow. 1953 Flash Gordon painted cover. And on the back side you get some story runneth over. Sometimes the ball bounces in your favor. What can you say? All right, last book, not in this sci-fi theme. This is a book I picked up from Berkeley Comic Show. I probably overpaid for this book based on the grade that came out with this. I was hoping for a higher grade than this, but at the end of the day, it's still an acceptable grade for what I'm doing with this. And as I've been working on my ASM 1 through 100s, And as you get into those upper numbers, I really want like a 5.0 or higher. And I hit the bottom end on that here on a 5.0 on ASM 100, the 100th anniversary issue, classic issue. We get that 5.0. So I'm happy. Wish it was a little bit better, but hey, at the end of the day, it's in the range that I want to collect, and I'm happy with that. All right, let's get into this. This is a commission. So these are going to be single books in here. We should be able to get through this pretty quick. CGC does make it somewhat easy to get to these. Bang. All right, here we go. This is Randy Eberlin, known, of course, as inker on the when Carnage was created. And this is, I had him do a Craven the Hunter. Look at that. Randy Eberlin, Craven the Hunter, custom label, 9.8. Awesome book. Super cool. Super fire. Super fire. All right, next up, another box. This one should be another commission. So essentially they do these in-house signing events, if that's what you guys are wondering. And sometimes the artists will be doing sketch covers. And if I can find one where it's somebody I'd like to have and their prices are reasonable, I will take that up on that opportunity. Now, I like to get these with just the art symbol because I'm always afraid of what happens if I get a 9.2 or an 8.0. Somebody's going to think less of it, whatever else. But fortunately, I can see this one's 9.8. This was Brad Anderson was in house, and he was really inexpensive, and I saw some stuff, and he looked like he was doing some pretty cool retro steampunky type stuff, and instantly I thought, man, I need him to do me a Mr. Freeze. Now, it came out a little bit more modern than I thought he was going to do, but still, check out that Mr. Freeze. That is awesome. Of course, I've been doing all these rogue galleries, so that's what I like about this. You know, just the color bits here. That's insane. Add to my rogues gallery. Awesome. Whew. Yeah. All right. Now, what's left are the bigger books. Okay, well, this one's here. I did not cut this one even open yet. So these two books, one of these is just a high value, and one of them is unlimited value. So they're both Heroes Con's pickups. So at Heroes Con, I picked up a few big books. And most of them were slabbed, but I did pick up a couple raw books. I got some really, really good values on some raw books. And one in particular, and I think that this is that one. Oh, God, I'm running out of space over here. First world problems. Okay, yes. All right, so as I've been collecting my Spider-Man books, one of those books that invariably comes up is Amazing Spider-Man 129, the first appearance of the Jackal. And yes, I know, the Punisher. So while I was at Heroes Con, one of the first booths I saw on the first day was a gentleman with a raw copy of ASM 129, and he was asking like $500 for it. Now, I was like, man, that seems really low. And I did my research. I looked up. Sure enough, it was pretty low. And I'm looking at the book, and the book had some minor staining and such on it. And I was like, oh, okay. But still, it seemed like to me it was probably still undervalued, still a low ask. And I walked away, got distracted. I went did a bunch of shopping. At the end of the day, I I decided, you know what? Let me go back and see if that book is still there. It was. I made him an offer. We ended up settling on 450, and I picked up a copy of ASM 129. Now, it went off the Rogue Trader. He's cleaned it. It looks great. There's staining. That's just the way it is on this book, and I can't avoid that. And the back cover has a lot of issues. But we get back an ASM 129 and a 2.5, which I paid only $450 for. That means right now, as it sits, I think it's like a $650, $700 book. I'm sitting up very well on this book. You can see here, right here, you can see a bit of staining there under his underarm stain. There's some staining along this edge. You can see the edge wear on the book, all up there. But the backside, this, you can see that spine. Again, heavy beating on the spine, especially up here where it is like literally splitting, cracking, and everything else. And we got tears in the top cover, like little razor blade marks and stuff down here. So it is what it is. But you know what? It's a Amazing Spider-Man 129. It's an affordable copy as far as when we say that, as far as Amazing Spider-Man 129 goes. This is an expensive book. That's just how it is. And to be able to pick one up for less than $500, I am super happy with that, and I'm good with it. It was not a book I don't care about the Punisher so much. I know that's kind of sacrilegious to a lot of you out there. Punisher's a super popular guy. For whatever reason, he just never did it for me. So I was perfectly fine not owning this book, but at $450, I'm super stoked too, and I will keep it in the collection, not for sale. Whew. All right. Now, this last book. This book is another book that was funny because for the longest time wasn't on my radar. Matter of fact, Pete, when I did pick it up, people were asking me, Rob, what the heck? I thought you weren't going to pick up this book. And I had no intention to pick up this book because I'm not a fan of this team. But things happened. I changed my tune. I decided I was going to start collecting some different keys. Opportunity came to pick up a giant size X-Men raw at the con, and here it is. I picked her up. I paid like I think it was like $10.50 or maybe $11.00 I paid for this book, and here we are in a 4.0, which puts it at about a $1,400 to $1,500 book. So again, I did okay. It's a book that's, staple for Gen X everywhere. They love this thing. It's only going to continue to go up in value. So I'm happy to have a copy to add to the collection now, even though for the longest time I said, I don't care about that book. And I really didn't. But now that I own it, I'm super happy to own it. So there you are. And that's our CGC haul, boys and girls. What do you think? Giant size X-Men. We got ourselves some ASM 129. We got these commissions. We got those sci-fi books. How do you pick? But let me know down below. Pick one. Which one is it? Hit that like button on your way out the door, please. Helps us get in front of more people. Ad revenue goes to Comics Curing Cancer all year round, not just during October. So give us a hand with that if you don't mind. And until next time, collect what you want. Don't listen to anybody, including me. I mean, I'm just a fat man with a fat stack of comics and a fat opinion. Thanks for watching.